Peace and love, beautiful people. Thank you for joining me. This is episode 4 of the Healers Collective podcast. I believe it's episode 4. That should be right. Today we're going to be talking about the human behind the healer. The human behind the healer. And if you are in the healing business, you obviously care about humans. You obviously care about the wealth, the well-being, the overall the holistic side of the human, right? That's why you got into this business. You really just enjoy people, whether it's literally physically stretching them, touching them, navigating them that way, or worried about their health, or worried about just something along the wellness thing. And I also, if you're new to my framework, I talk about the 5 dimensions of wellness, which are mental, physical, emotional, spiritual, and intellectual. So those are the 5 spaces that if you are a healer, you're helping them in one or more of those spaces. You're helping them mentally, helping them physically, helping them emotionally, helping them spiritually, or helping them intellectually. Today, we're going to talk about those same things because those 5 dimensions of wellness are also the 5 aspects of human nature. So within you, and these 5 aspects of human nature make up what I call the root system. So we're breaking down. I wrote a book that's made called Roots to Fruits, and it's the root system that leads you to develop a beautiful and profitable fruit system. Your root system come from these 5 things. How are you operating mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, and intellectually? So if you were to do a scale, if you were to like scale 1 to 10, how are you operating mentally? Do a self-inventory. Mentally breaks down into your habits and behaviors. So this comes down into your conscious, but really like your subconsciousness. So your habits and behaviors, where are they? Do you feel like they're solid? Do you feel like they're a 10? Like they're a 2, a 3? Where are they on that list? Then going into physically, how is your physical body? How is your physical body operating? Is it operating on a, just again, 1 to 10? Or you feel like, yes, like I'm taking care of my body, I'm on top of it, I'm moving well, I'm eating well, like my overall hygiene, my hair is good, just like hormone balance, everything is A1, 10, or like, oh, I need to work on this. Again, physical is how the body operates. It's not just movement. All the things operate at, your circulatory system, reproductive system, skeletal system, all these things make up the 12 different systems make up your physical. Emotional is how we interpret information, right? So right now, it's super sunny outside. It's beautiful, and I can say like, it's sunny outside. I feel good because I'm interpreting the sun is good. Most people, when it's like it's raining outside, it's like, I feel sad because they interpret the rain. Rain is just the information as something sad. So how can you, in that, do you have more gratitude? Are you having more gratitude and love for where you are in life? The more gratitude and love you are, the more gratitude and love you have, the better space you are emotionally. So do you feel like you feel sad, depressed, annoyed, angry, or do you wake up and feel just like, oh my gosh, I'm so grateful, I'm so happy for where I am? That's going to be a 10, and then anything less than that is going to be a little less than that. Spiritually, spiritually is not to lead you down any specific religion, but it's really how you connect to source and how you define source, right? So whatever outlet that you plug into, whatever source that you plug into to get your purpose, to get your GPS, to get your orders, whatever headquarters you get your orders from, how plugged in are you into that? That is going to be your spiritual. Then getting into your intellectual. Intellectual is how you process information. So how are you processing information? Meaning, you feel like you have a solid understanding of things, or are you struggling, fumbling, et cetera, et cetera? Technically, to get better within your intellect is reading more, writing more, and speaking more. The more you read, the more you write, the more you speak, the more intellectually sound you are going to be. So in all this framework, right? So you take your numbers, and if you're looking at how you're operating, this is your root system. So if you look at your fruit system, which is the end, is your business, is your profitability. If it's not doing everything it could do, it may be coming from your root system. And let's just take a tree, right? Let's take an apple tree. An apple tree's purpose, its only function, is to be fruitful. The whole tree, up like on the fruit side is to produce the fruit, but on the downside is to collect all the energy, to collect all the resources to then produce what is needed within the tree to send to the fruits to produce more fruits. That's your root system. If you spent any time looking at roots in a tree and just studying them, roots are extremely, you don't see them for one. So as you plant a seed, it grows as above, so below. So it's growing deeper below as it's growing tall. But the stronger the roots become very strong. The weaker the roots, the less nutrients it's going to bring in. But when a root is really solid, when it's a 10, it's able to break through anything that's in the way. It'll break through concrete, it'll break through other roots, it'll keep sourcing to get more and more soil from the earth, to get more and more resources. Meaning you're building a resilient system because it becomes impenetrable. If I'm saying that word right. If you develop your intellect and it becomes a 10, like, like, oh, nothing is stopping, like, I understand things, I'm processing information perfectly, that root is solid, you can't beat me there. I can't be defeated there. Meaning no information thrown at you will make you feel less than. And if it does, you'll be able to just start to learn and be like, oh, I know how to learn. I know how to read, write, and speak. So I'll be able to level up in this space. If you have solid habits and behaviors, meaning how you respond to information, you'll be able to level up through that as well. So how are you looking at your root system? Which one feels like it needs more work? And this is something you'll know because being extremely and incredibly truthful with yourself and honest with yourself about, like, okay, this is which space needs work. The more honest you become with yourself, the better you could actually start to do the work to improve said root, right? So out of those 5, you could better know if you're like, yeah, I mean, I'm good there, I don't do much work, and you realize, like, there's habits like procrastination, there's habits of being late, there's habits of not being true to your word. If those things are there, you're going to be, you reap what you sow. So that is one of your root system. That's also what you're doing and operating in. And that lack of is going to lead up to your root system, lead up to your fruit system, I mean. But also that procrastination is not going to allow you to overcome any obstacle. Solid roots break through any obstacle. So, and it's very hard to have a 10 out of 10 or 5 out of 10, right? So you get 5 out of 5, all of them are 10s, and be like, wow, I'm just solid. And that's the thing, it's very impossible. It just takes work. It takes work to really lock in on yourself and decide that, yeah, this is the person I'm going to be, because life happens. But as life happens, as the obstacles come, are you set up right? Are your habits and behaviors set up right? And I've been in spaces where I've had poor habits. I've had poor habits of watching TV versus working on my business. I've had poor habits of being late versus being fully prepared and on time, and better yet, early. So looking at the habits is a big one, because wherever your habits are will start to set up. Because if you have a habit of being prepared, being early and being prepared, then any obstacle that comes in your way, you are already ahead of the game. So you have time and space to see things coming and navigate. juke left, juke right, jump over, duck low, et cetera, et cetera. But if you're late and you get there and it's like, oh man, well, the opportunity already passed. I remember I had the opportunity to work on Ludacris. I don't remember how he even got my number. He got my number. His assistant, whoever got my number, scheduled a session, had the session, and then scheduled the session. And then as the session was coming up, I think I squeezed in another client at my place before I was going to his place. I didn't have a car, so I was Ubering, and I was like, "Oh, it'll work out." And then by the time I finished the sessions, called the Uber, I was gonna be like 15 minutes late. I called ahead, and I was like, "Hey, sorry, I'm gonna be 15 minutes late." And his assistant said, "Well, Chris doesn't have much time, so after your session, he has to, catch a plane or something. He had to just go." And I was like, okay, well, and I tried to plea and all my way out of like, let me schedule another session, let me send another therapist if it's me, I just don't want this. I don't want this to, just rot and go bad. There was no salvaging that situation. Never heard from him ever again because I, at the time, did not have a habit of being on time. I did not have a habit of being fully prepared. And I don't, and I mean, I'm exactly where I need to be because I had that lesson to then always refer back to like, no, you need to be prepared. Certain people, they don't have time and space to, move and adjust. Certain people, you need to be there 15 minutes on time. And not that I look at this as lack, but I look at it like, wow, what alternate reality might have happened if I would have booked that first session, locked in, developed a great relationship with them, and then I could be Luda's main guy that takes care of his body. But because I dropped that, because my personal stuff was not in order, and then it bled into the business. It bled into now my fruits were not being productive and being produced at the level they could have been produced. Like that feels like a whole nother, maybe one or two other apple trees. That feels like, cool, this is dropping a whole bunch of seeds and now I'm just growing an apple farm now. But that one root wasn't solid. And being honest, I didn't correct that root right away. It still took me some time and some other losses before I'm like, okay, let me stop playing around. Let me understand who I am and that there's only one of me. And the more I play around with me, the more I'm playing around with all that I've been blessed with. Hey Kayla, I have not heard of the 8. Let me pull up the chat. You said there's 8 dimensions of wellness? I haven't. I've only I was actually, when I was looking at this, I was looking at the 5 languages of pain is when I created all this. And then because I was looking at how people struggle and why people are spending money. And it's usually something that's happening physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, etc. There's another one that I throw in that is energetically, and it's like a bonus one. But I have not heard of the 8 dimensions. What do you know the other 3?
Yeah, I'm typing them. It's spiritual, emotional, social, occupational, environmental, financial, physical, and intellectual.
Okay, so social, environmental, and occupational are the ones that I'm not mentioning. And I guess I don't see that, I don't include those. I don't think about those because those don't feel like you're just born with them. Those feel like almost societal. Like financial, like once we got into this space of like going into currency, exchanging money, then the financial comes, but really financial is energetic. Like money is the currency is energy. Energy is the real currency. But even with this, like I could trade off my intellect. I could trade off my emotion. I could trade off of those things. Occupational is also I feel like we weren't born with occupations. We then find an occupation. But socially, I could see that one fitting in. But yeah, I haven't heard of them, but I'm grateful for it's a dope perspective. Um, but yeah, so how can we be the human that we are truly designed to be? And there's another framework that I created to kind of help humans navigate this. One of them is injury is inevitable. So with growth, as you're growing, as you're evolving as a person, as a human, injury is inevitable. It's inevitable not to get injured while growing. There's going to be some level of, like, if you're in the gym working out and your intention is to lose weight, your intention is to grow muscles, your intention is to just change and evolve, because you're pushing barriers, every now and then you're going to push a barrier a little too much and you're going to get injured. Now, it may not be a serious, like, career-ending injury, but there is going to be a slight strain, a slight sprain, something along those lines. In that time, and we've all been there, as we're redefining our brand, as we're evolving, we're stepping into this new space, there's an injury that happens. Even in love, when you want to do something new, your injury just happens because injury is inevitable. How do you rehab from that injury? So for you have to classify the injury of, like, okay, this is low sprain, this is a big tear, man, this is a dislocation, etc. Then there's a level of pausing, assessing, and then rehabbing. In life, we could get injured emotionally, mentally, spiritually, intellectually, physically. And when all these happen, we actually end up having a crisis. When we have more than one injury happening at the same time, we have a crisis. So when people are having a midlife crisis, it's because their habits and behaviors feel off. Physically, they feel burnt out, they feel tired, they feel overwhelmed, or just burnt out and tired. Emotionally, they feel maybe overwhelmed. Spiritually, they feel outside of their purpose. And intellectually, they literally don't know what to do. Another time that happens, and I think is a huge thing that's not talked about, is new parents. When you become a parent, both parents, mom and dad, or even just partner and partner, however you want to spin it, everybody goes through a crisis. It goes through an identity crisis, because when you become a parent, now all your habits and behaviors you were doing before, they're out the window, because now you have this newborn that you're trying to figure out your habits of going out and partying are no longer. Like, you have a baby at home. You should be thinking that way, at least. Then you get into emotionally, there's a level of physically, you're tired because you're not getting any sleep, because you're just following around this baby whose sleep schedule is all over the place. Emotionally, you're feeling overwhelmed, but you're also feeling this immense sense of love, and maybe even sadness of your old life, while feeling just extreme gratitude and love for this new life. So that's out of whack. And spiritually, you're figuring out, this is my purpose to be a mom? Is my purpose to be a dad? Is my purpose, like, I thought I was going to be a business person. I thought I was going to do this. I thought I was going to be an athlete, whatever the case may be. And now you feel like your purpose is off. And intellectually, it's a whole new human being. Like, am I capable? Do I know enough information to keep this human being alive? So you go through an identity crisis, and I just had my second son. He's 5 months old, and it happens each time. Because even the habits and behaviors we had with our 3-year-old, we felt like they were good. And now this new child is like, oh, okay, wow, everything is reset again. And I have some other friends that, have kids, were in that age of having kids. And I see their identity crisis happen every single time. And unless you're locked in and solid with like your purpose, if your spiritual is locked in, then you could kind of hold the ground, right? If your root system is solid, you'll hold your ground as things shift and shake. But if not, you'll go through an identity crisis. You'll go through a midlife crisis, or whatever period of your life crisis. Everything I'm saying making sense? Thank you, Adrian. Cool. The other one, last framework I'm gonna talk about, just how to balance and navigate your human best, is flesh. I believe every human, especially healers, once we could really overcome and master our flesh, there's an acronym for food, love, energy, sex, and healing. If we could better manage those 5 things, if we could have a better relationship with those 5 things, we would have a beautiful, beautiful life. And I think these 5 things end up being our downfall as humans. I think flesh is the one thing that separates us from God. Like, God doesn't have to worry about like habits and behaviors, like what food I'm eating today, or like, it's like God is love. Doesn't have to worry about like how like unconditional love, or should I love this, or wholesome back love, hold love back, etc. Like, my God doesn't have to like worry and try to decide like, what should I do here? But as humans, we're here to navigate, and learn these lessons. But people don't always have the best relationship with food. America specifically has a very overconsumption of everything. Never mind like food, drinks. Like, I stopped drinking alcohol. I limited my drinking of alcohol like a lot. So I pretty much don't, but every now and again I have something. But it's like, alcohol is poison. Period. There's no like, but it's, like, wine is one thing, right? Other than that, because beer, I don't think beer is even like whatever. There's non-alcoholic beer, and you could, it's whatever. I've had a few of those. I don't feel horrible, but when I'm having alcohol, like real like liquor, it's poison. And I think there's that, and then there's other things that just are not supposed to be. Our body tells us are not supposed to have it. Like, our body is, if you listen to your body will tell you you don't like this thing, right? As great as cheesecake is, my body does no longer respond well to cheesecake. It doesn't serve my body well. As much as I'm Jamaican, as much as jerk pork was like, oh my gosh, it's the best, the most amazing thing my dad has ever created on this earth, I haven't had it in over a decade, because I know pork does not sit well. It does not serve the body well. It stays in the body forever. And I hope you guys aren't doing too much bacon, if any, or pork at all. But yeah, so that's food, right? So food, everything you're drinking and consuming, that, like, can we have a better relationship on it? Or even like sugar, candy, chocolate, all these things, are we over consuming them? Junk food, etc. Are we over consuming them, or are we having a better relationship? Like, I don't need that. Let me drink some water. Let me find the root thing that I'm actually craving. Like, oh, I'm actually lacking this. Let me get this, not just go for candy. Love, I don't know if collectively we really understand like unconditional love. And it's a very hard thing for a lot of us to do, especially if we've been burned before, because we had a hard time before. Sometimes we hold back some love. We don't give all of our love. And I think that is one of the biggest things within love. And I'll touch on that when I get to healing. Energy. Being aware of our energy, being aware of the energy that we are around and how much that influences us. And energy, and even the people we're navigating and having any type of relationship with, we're absorbing their energy, we're taking their energy on. So having those feelings can then alter. So think about, like, if you're not eating well, and then you're having a very conditional love, and then you're around the poor energy, how are we supposed to run a business? How are we supposed to actually be a solid human and then actually go out and run a healing business specifically. So we have to put all these things in check so we could actually lead by example, so we could be around, like living the life that we could be around to then help other people. Energy, sex. Sex is the thing that our flesh wants, desires. Some would, I would say deserve. I think it's a beautiful thing, but it's something that could deter you off and just distract you from your purpose. Because especially if you're not understanding like the real power of it and how soul ties and all those things happen, like we have to be super mindful and have great discernment. And as I'm saying this, I'm really speaking to my older self because I had a very hard time navigating. Yes, picking up the energy of other people is real, and that happens. That's a direct result of sex, like of the soul ties and of these things. And you don't realize that you're operating and you're feeling somebody else's trauma, you're feeling somebody else's energy because they were cute last night at the club, or because they were, they said the right thing, or you said the right thing, whatever the case may be. And it's like now you don't realize that they were being beaten, abused by somebody. They were being cheated and robbed by somebody. Like, and now you're feeling that and you don't even know why. You're lashing out and you don't realize like it was from old boy or old girl from 2 weeks ago, last week, last night, this morning, whatever the case is. But also tapping into the real magic of sex, because it's such a beautiful thing when it's with the right person. And I feel like most people should just do a lot more just assessing before navigating with people, and let's have a breathing meditation session first. Let's ground ourselves and then let's dive into this beautiful oasis of creation. Like sex is to create not only humans but also businesses and to manifest things. It is a birthplace. It's an energy creation space. And then healing. I think healing, and especially as healers, sometimes we can have this, I don't know the title of it, but a notion where we feel like because I'm the healer, everybody should almost like bow down to me. I have this gift. I am God, not a God, but I am the God that you need to bow down to. And because sometimes as a healer and with other people coming to you so much, you feel like you just know it all. And there's a level of like ego with that you will fall. But also in healing, how healing is not, I don't think we heal all the way. I think we heal like 20, 30, maybe even like we get good to like 50 or 60% of the way. And then we're like, I'm good. And we go back into our old habits, but we're not fully healed. So if we look at you strain your leg and you, instead of healing all the way, you get to 70% healing. So you still walk with a limp. And now you're trying to run. Now you're trying to squat. Now you're trying to do all these things, load that the body, and the body can't actually function at 100%. We do that with the heart. We've had a broken heart, and instead of healing all the way, we only come to a certain space where it's like, oh yeah, I'm over that person. But in reality, we're not fully over that person. There's still certain things that come when it comes up, when that load comes, it actually can break us. Which injury? So the equation for injury, when the load is greater than the capacity, that is when injury occurs. Injury occurs when the load is greater than the capacity. In a physical body, but in anything, right? If the workload is too much, greater than you can handle, you're going to get injured. This also becomes like all applying to all the rest of the things in like the 5 aspects of human nature. But even in heartbreak, right? If somebody's coming and they're ready to like love you like unconditionally through everything, if you don't have the capacity for that type of love, you're gonna break. You're gonna wonder. You're gonna break. You're gonna wonder why they're trying to love you so hard. And it's like, because this is true love, and the only love that you know has been abbreviated, has been broken, has been conditional. But all these things. Once we navigate all these things, because I think a lot of business coaches they go right into the business stuff of things, and I've obviously shared a lot of just business strategy and how to navigate. But in my program, in my one-on-one coaching program, my pivot program, I touch on all these aspects simultaneously, or depending on the person, I may touch on these things first before diving into the business. Because if you have a heavier mental load of, or just emotional, if you're an emotional wrecking, like it's not going to be, I tell you to create content this way, or I tell you to do this, you're not going to be able to do it to the fullest of your ability, because you're not at your full capacity. Like you're not able to really lock in, and your root system is not fully developed and not fully operating. You're still struggling in a few small areas. All that makes sense? Beautiful. Any questions on any of that? Kayla, thanks for the add-ins there.
How do you suggest, I guess, like if somebody has a lot going on, working full time, running a business, in school, right? Obviously, that's a large load. How do you suggest that someone increases their capacity?
It's going to be through their root system. So habits and behaviors. So once you set up proper habits and behaviors, because yes, that feels like a lot, but there's also so many hours in it. There's a lot of hours in a day. We waste a lot of time scrolling. We waste a lot of time doing Netflix. We waste a lot of time shopping on things. I just watched this documentary on Netflix on shopping, like buy now. Like shopping is pretty much terrible, and how like it's just ruining the world. And I'm like, man, I don't want to buy anything else ever again. But there's like, do you have the habit of being disciplined to do what you need to do? Like, okay, I'm gonna wake up at this time and work out. Make sure the physical body has the capacity to actually handle it. Are you getting the right energy? Are you eating the right foods to actually like mentally handle everything you need to handle? Are you getting the right rest in the appropriate times? There's nothing wrong with a solid 30-minute nap if you need it. That's better than 30 minutes of scrolling. Most people casually will scroll for 30 minutes, and that turns into 45 minutes. And then you find a rabbit hole of kittens playing with something, and you're like, oh man, I want to see more kittens. And then you're on TikTok watching somebody dance. And then you find out Kendrick Lamar dropped another diss track, and then you're like, I'm gonna listen. It just it just follows so far, so fast. Social media is really, really, really like everything is. There's two sides of every coin. Social media is beautiful and amazing and connects you to so many brilliant people, and it's also a space where you can see kittens, you can see war, you can see sex, you can see love, you can see children, you can see all that in like 3 scrolls. Like you can see literally war. Like I remember seeing like somebody playing with their kids, then a plane crash, then starvation, then somebody twerking. Like this is just like story to story to story. Like in a matter of fact, that level of like overload in the mind could, for one, trap you to see like what's coming next, but also it could just make you feel like Instagram, like social media in general, is a waste of time. But to increase your capacity, I would look at having like all these, the 5 things, right? But having a solid spiritual system, like who is your source? Who are you tapping into? Like understanding your purpose and understanding like, okay, look, this is not aligning my purpose, so I'm not doing this. If what I'm doing, does this move the needle forward, or is it keeping it still or moving it back? Does that answer the question well?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So I have a quick question. You may have touched on this before, but what are your thoughts if I feel that I still need additional healing? Should I still be trying to heal others?
Yes, because healing is forever. Healing is forever. As much as I'm preaching about this 5 levels of the root system, I'm still developing mine. I'm still navigating mine. My flesh, I'm still navigating that. Chocolate is amazing. Like little, just like Ferrero Rochers, I almost get them every time I go to the store. It's terrible, but I still know the information to share with you. My example is always Usain Bolt. Usain Bolt, fastest man in the world, has a world record in 2 events. One of the most decorated Olympians. Everybody knows Usain Bolt. His track coach doesn't look like he could run 100 meters, period. Like, I don't think he could get to the finish line. Like, I don't know if you guys seen his track coach. He is a very round man. He doesn't look like he has sprinted ever in his life, but he understood. In order to be a coach, what you need to know is understand the game and understand the player that you are coaching to have a better relationship with the game. So if the game is life, if the game is business, if the game, whatever it is, if you understand the game and you understand that unique player in front of you, and you can help them navigate to get to and play the game better, then that defines you as a coach. There's plenty of coaches that haven't played at the level to their athlete. So I think, yes, if you are still healing, and it may also be better for some people because it's like, oh yeah, you're still going through this process. You're maybe 2 or 3 steps ahead. Like, how did you get there? Like, I just want to get to where you are. Can you help me get there? And as you're still growing and healing, you can almost like keep them going with you. It's the lifting while climbing concept.
Got it. That makes sense. Thank you. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
You're welcome. Oh man, okay. Beautiful. Laurent, you're very welcome. Thank you for joining. Later. Any other questions or concerns in general, right? This is on this topic or just like in general for business, coaching wise. I created this. One of the reasons why I created this is like an opportunity for, if you have questions on like, hey, I'm trying to run this business, I'm trying to do this. How can I need help. I need advice. I need et cetera, et cetera. Nothing. Everybody running their business perfectly. Everybody's navigating life in all the amazing ways.
So I just wanted to say, like, I started like on Sunday, like waking up a little earlier, just practicing how I feel, just seeing how I feel, like the day, and it's days, but I definitely clarity in it. So it's made a difference in the last 2 days. Like, I feel like work has been a little extra busy because there are people out. So now again, I'm carrying the load of other people at work, and instead of do things that like really grabbed my attention at work, I made a to-do list, and if it was something that I can do within like a 5-minute time span, I got that done. And then when I was home later, I got the bigger things done versus trying to feel panicked because I'm not getting stuff done because I'm so busy and I'm trying to pick the big things to do at work.
Yeah, yeah.
Just setting the day up with realistic expectations, knowing what I also have to deal with, that day. So whether it be I'm busy at work this day or I have 3 clients this day or whatever it is, it's being realistic as to what my other items are on my to-do list.
Beautiful. And what Jasmine is referring to is we had our call earlier this week and I'm sharing. So I'm developing a concept, a program, a course really called Rooted. And in the Rooted program, we'll go across these 3 things, which is listen, learn, and locomote. So every day, our body's changing every single day. So your body yesterday is not your body today. Your body tomorrow is not your body today. So every day is changing, but every day, are you waking up and listening to your body, learning what your body needs, and then locomoting, putting in some sweat equity based off what you have listened and learned. So like this morning, I woke up, and I'm listening to my body, just seeing what it feels internally and outside. So energetically, emotionally, what am I feeling? And then physically, what am I feeling? And then everything was like, okay, everything's smooth from listening. Then I'm learning that I move my body, I dance, I just do some low level movements, some simple, not even like mobility, but just like going through more of an expression of my range of motion. So not gaining like mobility, and I'm saying this because some people say, oh, do some mobility stuff, and they're like, oh, do some mobility, and they're just moving their body. That's not mobility. Mobility is actually when you are getting control of new ranges of motion. When you gain control of new ranges of motion, that is mobility. When you are moving your body the way you can move it, that is an expression of your range of motion. So in your learning, you're going through your expression of range of motion, where you can actually dance, you can twist, you can turn, you can do these things. That is where you are learning more about your body. That could be yoga, that could be animal flow, that could be FRC, that could be just anything. While I was doing that, I felt something in my left ankle, the lateral aspect of my posterior ankle. I felt something. I'm like, the lateral and posterior aspect of my ankle, I should say. And then I was like, okay, cool, time to locomote. So I added in some crawling, I added in some ski jumps, I added in just some balancing so I could then feel like really load, and even just simple jumping up and down on one leg, but on both legs, to kind of load and give what my ankle, my body desires and deserves. So that whole concept is what Jazz was talking about. It's just every single day as you wake up, listen, learn. What does my body need? What does my body deserve and desire? Because every day your body's a new body. Like every single day, we have to learn. And this is like you and your body, because we're all growing every single day. But also let me say this, we're changing every day. We're either growing or we're depreciating. We're not staying the same. That is for you, but also that's for other people. That's for your partner. That's for your clients. That's for sorry. That's for you. That's for your partner. That's for that's for everybody around you. So like taking time to like, hey, how are you today? How's your body today? Because some people woke up and like their back hurts. And the example I was giving with Jasmine was like, I was on the call, I was telling her this, like some people wake up and their back hurts and they don't do anything about it. And then they go through and they work and they sit all day, and then they go still run, they go still lift, they don't do anything to address their back hurting, versus like, listen, learn, locomote, which is like, okay, listen, oh man, my back is hurting. Okay, how could I learn which part of my back is really the root of that? And then what type of movements can I put into my body that will help my back feel better? So it's not even about working out. Sometimes you need that, but sometimes the movement, the locomote part, is what movements will help my body just operate and move at its, again, what does it desire and deserve? Some days that will be rest and recovery. Some days that will be intentional training. So it's going to be mobility, strength, or conditioning. One of those things. So that's my Rooted program. I will be launching it on March 1st. There's going to be 2 different course tracks. One is going to be for you guys, like wellness professionals. Another one is going to be for the high achieving business person and or athlete. So that way there's 2 different tracks. I'm having 2 different languages, 2 different messaging, I should say. But Jasmine, I'm glad, long tangent, but I'm glad that that was working out for you. Tanya and Zave, thank you for joining. Right now, this is the Q&A portion. If you have any questions or concerns, this is the coaching time. Like if you have a question about how to navigate whatever in business, this is it. Today we talked about the human behind the healer and how to navigate the 5 dimensions of wellness, the flesh, all that to just be a better human so that way you can be a better healer.
I have a question, and you also don't have to answer it. I don't know if you've worked also while running your business. I think most of us have, right? And I know I mentioned this before, but like, has that ever taken a toll on your relationship and the relationships around you? And how have you handled that? Or how can somebody who's balancing and juggling all these different things, kind of handle that?
It has, this specific business has not, another business has, but the other business has affected the relationship because I was not navigating the relationship. I was not navigating the business well. I was being too mixy within that business. And for clear context, because I'm being more open and transparent in a lot of things that I was operating. I had a sex coaching business, and I would literally have online courses. I would have a lot of online courses that sold great, and then I would show up and do live workshops in different cities. And it'll pretty much be a stretch class with a few demonstrations, and everybody's like clothed, and there's nothing crazy happening at the class. But I'm just doing demonstrations of positions and transitions. And after class, some women would, pretty much want to be a good student and be like, hey, what's going on? I'll be like, yeah, we get, whatever, class is over, we're all adults, and I'll move. But that's not how my relationship was set up and operating in. And I was withholding that. So that was the demise. And that was me. I was weighing heavier, really tanking the business while also tanking my relationship simultaneously. To my naive eye, I'm like, I'm good. Everything's straight. But, yeah, and then later on, everything kind of erupted in my face. But it's on me. So owning that. But that is when. But other than that, I think it comes down to how clear and honest are you being within both, right? So like sometimes business needs more, and like if let's say you're not drawn in, whatever, your ego is not being sucked in by the business, are you being clear to your partner or anybody in your home, like, hey, I need to dive into this business a lot more in this season, for this next 3 months, for this 2 weeks, for this whatever, for today. So I apologize, but I'm not going to be giving here, but I need to do this here so that way we could enjoy this. If that's not being communicated, then it could feel like a strain, because your partner or somebody in the home could feel a way about what you're doing. Go ahead, Jasmine.
I just wanted to add a little bit of kind of how I navigate, not necessarily a romantic relationship, but even time with my son. One of what Jordan says is I do explain to him along the way, like, what the end goal is. Like, mommy might be busy, but the end goal is more free time. The end goal is me being able to retire early so I can show up more. But also it's having dedicated time with him, even if I am tired. Like, there's the Saturdays where it's like, okay, we're going to the movies, or we're in the house and we're just going to watch a movie, but I'm putting the phone down, I'm putting the computer down, and I'm explaining to him, like, this is your time. I'm really big with making memories over buying materials with him. So even for Christmas, it was a lot of going out. It was a lot of just doing things. So I feel like, no, that doesn't replace everyday time, but I do give that quality time, even if it is a stretch session. So it might be somewhere where I'm getting content for work, but I'm still stretching my son. And in that moment, it is just quality time between me and him. So that's been how I've been trying to navigate the rhythms of work, full-time job. I just pulled into the parking lot, and then running a business, being a mom, and then when track season shows up, what that looks like. But it is intentionally setting quality time with him throughout the week.
Thank you both.
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate that. That was actually really helpful
Yeah, I love
to
that.
put into perspective.
Like, put it on the schedule like you would anything else. Like, this is your 2 hours or 3 hours.
Yeah, and I had to do that with wifey, with like, especially when I was working and seeing clients all day, and then she's like, "My back hurt." I'm like, "Oh yeah, let me." And so we had to like put her session on the schedule. So it's like, cool, this time is blocked off for you to get this session. Now we can spend time, but also like actually treat you. A really good question, Kayla. Anybody else? Questions, concerns, navigating business? No? Zay, Tanya, y'all both are good?
Yes, I'm good. I'm interested in jumping in on a really interesting part, considering I raised my daughter at the same time that I raised my business. So that was a really timely question. So it was balance. It was a lot of balance, and nobody know. I know I didn't. I never had any experience of starting a business and raising a kid. I was inexperienced in both. So a lot of the things that I did was really trial and error, but making sure the love was showed and always made that loved one felt first, always put them first, in terms of like making them feel like they're first. And and it's times where you beat yourself all day and you come home, like you said, and the wifey's like, my back hurts, but you're beat down tired now because you've given all that you had at work. And so yeah, you just gotta find that balance. And what's that remedy? I don't know the remedy. I don't know the equation to make that look what that looks like, but it's definitely something that I guess we just have to kind of figure it out.
Yeah, it's I think it's unique per person,
Agree.
per relationship,
Mm,
and based also what's communicated. What people feel cheated on, when people feel cheated is when an agreement was broken.
mm,
And a lot of times people are walking around with unvoiced agreements.
mm,
Like people may get together and somebody has a thought like, oh yeah, so since we're together, we have this agreement that this is happening. And they never voiced that. They just thinking that because their parents did that in their last relationship, like, yeah, we're together, so I have access to your phone. And the other person's like, that's not anything. We never spoke about that. If that was the case, we may not have ever been together. If that was the agreement of being together, but that's a lot of unspoken things that people are just like, oh, I assumed you would. Did we talk about it? And then so that same with parenting and same with partners, like, well, I thought you would be able to, like, I thought I'll get stretches every day. And it's like, was that what you thought dating me was gonna be? I'm sorry, we didn't talk about that. Like that. It sounds good, and I think every person who dates a body worker thinks they're gonna get body work all the time. Sorry, and I think every person who dates a body worker in real time knows, like, no, I get like one session a month, and it's like, I know, and it sounds crazy, but that's actually the reality. But yeah, I think the remedy is very unique. If like, what is the agreements? What's the conversation? What's the relationship on that? Jasmine, you raised your hand. Are you good?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay. But yeah, Tanya, thank you for that add-in. Okay, cool. What time is it? Yeah, 2:59. Timing is good. If all hearts and minds are clear, again, I'm having my social media mastery workshop this Sunday from 1 p.m. Eastern to 5 p.m. Eastern. It is a 4-hour workshop. Tanya's been on it, Jasmine's been on it. So they yeah, it's a good workshop. It's where I speak forever, it feels like.
It's a great workshop. I have to say, it really started my engine in the social media realm because I stayed hidden, but now I'm not. It was a great
Yeah,
workshop. I have to say, I'm still reaping the benefits from that. Thank you for that.
you're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah, I'm trying to think anything else I have going on. How are you guys liking Substack and the emails coming out? Is it fitting? I feel like I'm enjoying my process on it, but how are you guys enjoying on your end?
Yeah, I like it. It's very encouraging. It makes me want to create one myself. So
Yes.
it's very solid. You know, everything is just cohesive.
Good. Beautiful. Beautiful.
I enjoy it. I appreciate it.
Good.
It's going well.
Yeah, it's appreciated.
Good. 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 That's the main thing. Like I could enjoy it, but if you guys are not, it's useless. Yeah, I think if you guys are looking to build and have somewhere you could send out newsletters and whatever, Substack is solid. It is super free, super free, which is the main thing. You can create a Substack and then you create community and people. Then you have subscribers. And then if you want to send out news blogs, if you want to, whatever you want to create, I feel like it's really solid. Even you could turn your posts into videos. So like I could take if I make a blog, I could select which part of the blog I want, like to quote, take that, and then it will do a voiceover, do an AI voiceover, and it'll pretty much have the words on the screen like a captions, and that makes the video. So it's a faceless video, but the information that you want shared will be there. Now you can upload, you could do your own voiceover and read it yourself, or you could just do the AI voice, which is super simple, easy, clean. I posted on my story last night, whatever time that is, yesterday evening for y'all. So if you want to go on my story, it should still be there to see the example of what their video looks like. But yeah, they don't pay me anything. It's super great. But you can also add a pay feature, which I may add like a whole payment side of the Helix Collective where I'll have that. But yeah, until then, I just want to keep building the community as I need to. So yeah, I'm trying to think of anything else. No, I think my heart and mind is clear.
Super non-business question, but like, do
Yeah.
you feel like any microphones actually help with the delivery of the audio when you're using it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and yes, incredibly. So I've done a lot of Google Meet calls and recorded them. So I have headphones in so I can hear you guys, and I was like, oh, I'll just use those for the audio. And playing it back, I'm like, I don't want to post this. It doesn't sound clean. It doesn't sound so. In posting, people will forgive the video, though the visual, but they won't forgive the audio. If the audio sounds crazy, they don't want to watch it or listen to it.
I ordered some from Amazon, but I don't like them. I think the little like puffy thing helps a little bit, so I probably have to order a new set.
I'll send you the link for this one because it comes in this nice set, and
Yes, I need a case. Yes.
Yeah, it has a nice case, but it also has the battery life on it. So I had a microphone before, and the battery, it didn't have the battery life. So I'll be recording a video, 20-minute video, 2 minutes in, the microphone dies, and I don't know because I'm not I'm not looking. Yeah, it's so now I could just always see like, oh, okay, cool. I have
Yeah, that's the one. This is the one that you suggested. I purchased that one as well. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I have it too.
Tell
It's
everybody
perfect.
perfect. Yeah, so I'll DM you and then I'll get the link from you.
Yes, the same thing
Gotcha.
was happening that Jordan described. I recorded a bunch of content just to have silent videos.
Wow. Okay. Thank you guys. So maybe it was a business
Yeah.
related question.
Very much so, yeah. Content creation is definitely business. Beautiful. Thank you, everyone. I love you all. Have an amazing, amazing day. The work that you are doing is very necessary, so keep healing, keep sharing, and yeah, let's always help each other as we're healing each other and healing the world. Yeah, peace and love.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much. Y'all have a great day.
Thank you. You all have a great day.
Thank you. Be well.
Mhm. Bye.